Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Kent Justice, your host for This Week in Jacksonville Business Edition. I'm really excited about this. We've got two guests today. The founder and chief executive officer of Anuvision Technologies. This is Summer Vyne, our first time to visit.
Yes.
First appearance on our podcast, so welcome. And I was mentioning to Matthew Chang, principal and founder of Chang Robotics. This is, I think, your third time on the podcast.
Yeah.
You're our most popular guest, apparently, because I haven't had anybody on 3 times yet.
What an honor.
And so the reason that we're here and talking today, we're exploring Jax Tech Fest, spans several days, end of August. We're also talking about Jacksonville Venture Competition, which, as I understand it, maybe takes place right in the middle of that. So forget about you, Matt. Summer Vyne, why don't you start and just describe what this is all about? And I'd like to hear more about your individual companies as well, as you're bringing this mission forward here in Northeast Florida.
Okay. Well, we believed there was a gap that we needed to help fill for the city. And both Matt and I are big innovators in technology. Our companies revolve around technology. So we wanted a way to showcase all the forward-thinking leaders that are here in Jacksonville and Northeast Florida, and a way to kind of elevate that. So we created the Jax Tech Fest entity, which is a nonprofit, and put together this week-long event that has seminars, workshops, panel discussions, all kinds of things that are happening within a week. We're doing it from August 25th through the 29th. And then we have the major anchor event, Disrupt It, that kind of is it facilitates bringing all those companies in so that we can have keynote speakers and we can showcase different technologies. We're going to have robots, different things happening at it that most people don't get a chance to see, but also a way to elevate a place for those companies to go. There's so many really cool companies in Jacksonville that nobody knows about, and we want a way to elevate all of that. And then with Matt's venture capital project, where he's been doing it for a couple years, I think when he talks about that, putting that in the event so that we can have entrepreneurs and venture capitalists come together and highlight these companies in Jacksonville that are trying to do incredible things. I think that it just brings this whole week together and it makes it very exciting. And we've got a couple other things bundled into that week that is just going to be incredible for Jacksonville.
And I'm going to swing back. I want to hear more about your individual companies that you're involved with. Matthew, tell me more about this idea. Oh, you guys have been working on this for 5 years. No, it's like 2 days. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah. Well, that's everything we do is put together quick. But yeah, I mean, we've been. It really started with the Jacksonville Venture Competition. So we've had 2 main events where we had startups pitch in front of a panel of professional VCs, and then a lucky company leaves with funding. So we've got a couple years of track record with that, and then we've also done a lot of satellite events to promote industries in Jacksonville, such as emerging mobility tech and those sort of things. So this year, Summer had this idea. I want to do something bigger, and I said, well, we've got 1 day covered. We can do the venture capital show again. And she said, I want bigger. So we took a full week, right? And what we decided to do was showcase a bunch of different venues in Jacksonville. So we have 5 separate venues across 5 days, and we have 5 different flavors. We're starting off with GovTech, because the city of Jacksonville and our other governmental organizations, they're doing some really cool stuff, and we want to showcase that. So we're starting with that. It'll be on the Emerald Trail in Springfield. So what a great place to start the week, and talking about future growth of the city.
Yeah.
And then the Wednesday is really the apex of the day, where we're having this Disrupt It. We booked the entire Prime Osborne Convention Center. So we're going to have lots of space. It's going to be very comfortable for everybody to network, to see some amazing keynotes, and of course have a venture capital competition. And then we close out the week on Friday with a TEDx and a happy hour. Yes. And so we're super excited to bring that kind of deep level thought leadership with TEDx. We're going to have that at Jacksonville University. And then we're going to have a happy hour in Jax Beach called Jax Tech. And so we'll have a lot of innovators bumping around, but having fun.
Yeah.
So as I'm just getting to know you for the first time today for our interview, and as I've gotten to know you over this last year and a half or so, Matthew, you guys are forward thinking. You're like, how do we not just grow my own business, but how do we see our region succeed? Tell me more about some of that and how this will impact companies that come along this month and get involved with what's going on there.
Well, I think it just gives people an opportunity to understand what's here in North Florida. I think that was one of the things that I noticed as we were going out and scouting different companies and to get involved. And the more we kind of dug, the more I was like, wow, did you know that there is I met a company that does robotics in the medical field, and they showed me how their, robot worked, and I was amazed that, I couldn't even see the two things they were sewing together until they were under a microscope. And I was just like, that's incredible. Like, that's here. And that company moved its entire headquarters from Italy to here. And I just don't think people know the kind of companies that are coming into town and all the neat, innovative, forward-thinking people we have here. And like I said, there's been no way to really kind of highlight Jacksonville or Northeast Florida. So we wanted to put everybody on a pedestal and say, this is great for our region. This is great for everybody that's building businesses here and all the entrepreneurs in this city. And there's so many great things happening with the city, with the JSEB program and how they're trying to help create more entrepreneurs. So I feel like Matt and I said the more we get people together, the more we're going to bolster this entire community. So it's important everyone get involved. So we're just trying to put that word out. Get involved because we need everyone.
And Kent, there is, to be honest, there's a little bit of Duval pride here, right? And Summer and I are both proud Duval County residents.
We are.
The other thing we feel like is it is a race in Florida. Florida's a hot state. People all around the country are looking at Florida, moving here, both in terms of population and capital. But we feel like Jacksonville is probably the best value in Florida from a workforce perspective, from the natural beauty of the city, and then just all the things we have to offer with innovation and people resource. So this is a good chance for us to spotlight and steal the spotlight for a week in all of Florida, because we know that nobody else is putting on a better event in all of Florida for the week. And that's evidenced by we have people traveling in to be involved and speak from Charlotte and Atlanta. And so what we want is regionally people looking at Duval saying, what is happening in Jacksonville and how do I get involved there?
Well, I've heard the last couple of years, the tech space in Jacksonville is growing.
Right.
And a lot of us are like, well, I'd like to see some evidence. You're providing some evidence to that, right?
Yes, I feel like we are. I think that's the one thing that people are like, I know there's a lot of tech leaders here. Me and Matt mingle with them. We talk with them. We run into each other. We travel in the same circles. But it's now to kind of converge different folks together that maybe wouldn't normally converge and come up with even more incredible ideas that we can help each other's businesses. Because Matt and I don't do the same thing, but we're doing things together. And same with a lot of other businesses that we are in. It's not just healthcare. It's not just logistics. It's just not fintech. All of those things are kind of converging, and we're making a platform for them to be able to do that high quality networking, which is you're just not always capable of doing that. So we want to try to bring that to Jacksonville.
Summer, spend a moment here and tell me about Anuvision and what your company does. You were telling me this incredible story. Hey, I decided we'd start right when COVID began.
Yeah, I was a little crazy. Yeah, I remember it was March of 2020, and I decided that I was going to quit working for a big conglomerate and start my own business. And we're only going to be gone a couple weeks, right? It's spring break. We're going to come back. Everything's going to be fine. And nope, those weeks just kept lingering into months. And so I was a little bit in panic, but I just took that time and did some consulting and really just focused on my business plan and just started to do some of my marketing and creating my systems and doing things that I wouldn't have to do while I was creating my business and bringing in customers. So I just did all of that up front, and I think it really allowed me the time to create a solid business plan and not just kind of jump into it, which is what I was going to do. So I think it all happened for a reason. And then, obviously the last 3 years, the growth has been 180%, which is
well, tell people
crazy.
What the businesses or what the services are you provide.
So Anuvision Technologies is an audio video integrator. So we do a lot of things like in this beautiful studio. We do anything that you can pretty much see and hear. So we do sound systems, digital walls, digital signage, TVs, video conferencing systems, sound masking, all those things, right? But we don't do home theater or anything like that. We do them for businesses, government, hospitals, entertainment spaces, things like that. So I've been doing it for 25, hate to say that, but 25 plus years. And I just love it. I love the way the technology continues to advance. And It's the immersive technology that's coming. I do a lot of hologram technology. There's just some really cool things happening, and now I'm getting into robots, right? So I'm trying to play in the big pool here with Matt. I don't know if it's going to work, but we'll see what happens.
Matt, take a moment and tell people about what you do and what your expertise is.
Yeah. Chang Robotics is a local company. We're headquartered in Jacksonville Beach. We design and install robotic systems for the workplace. It's that simple. When we started the business, we really had two market sectors, which were government tech and then were advanced manufacturing. And what we've learned is those skills of being able to automate cities and being able to automate factories are very transferable. So we're getting into infrastructure now. We're working on our first automated port. So that's an exciting technology we want Jacksonville to learn about soon. We have gotten very good at e-commerce, making sure you get your goods within the predicted time for
Yes,
when you
please.
click. Yeah, right,
I
exactly.
accept.
Maybe a little early. And then we've also gotten into healthcare, and we've now built the nation's first autonomous hospital. So as we go kind of from end to end, what we learn is that discipline of being able to design and integrate robotic systems in a facility, it's very transferable. And so we have been recognized as national leaders, and we're very proud to call Duval home.
Yes.
Wow. Pretty exciting. So thank you for telling me about your individual businesses. Tell me more about how Jax Tech Fest, how does this Disrupt It conference kind of fit in?
Well, it's kind of the anchor event, right? It's a way for us to not only host many events throughout the city, but it's a way for us to bring it all kind of together in one middle of the week event where we can have panel discussions, we can have keynotes, we can have breakout sessions, but it's also a way for people to have high value connections, right? I am in business doing one thing and Matt does another, but together we might have some really great collaborations, but there's no place for us to go meet and do that. So we're trying to build that in Jacksonville so all the different segments can come together and start kind of integrating the different ideas that all of us are coming up with, because we just want to make our ecosystem here in Duval super strong. And you kind of have to think of like Jax Tech Fest is like the ecosystem and Disrupt It is like the heartbeat. It keeps it all together.
Yeah. So, and Summer's been creative with the way she's planned this. So we have 4 keynote speakers in the morning. So when you show up to the Prime Osborne on Wednesday, you get back-to-back 4 really incredible high-level keynote speakers in different topics. We'll do sports tech, med tech. We're going to do AI for banking, something that people in Jacksonville probably care about. And we're also going to hear from a leader in our local government. Then for the afternoon, you get to break out, and we're going to have 5 different theaters. And so you can choose your own theater, and you can bounce around if you are more interested in AI or if you're more interested in med tech. You can choose that track. And of course, we'll be hosting the venture capital competition. We've been super lucky. In past years, we've accepted applications from startups outside of the city. This year, we're doing the entire population of Duval startups. Well, I say Duval, Jacksonville area startups.
Yeah.
We might have some St. John's in there. But it's all Jacksonville companies. And the max prize is $1 million. So it's real money for real startups.
Somebody listening right now said, oh, how do I apply? How do I jump in? How do I get involved? Yeah,
well,
I just heard that. Right?
Yeah, so we did get oversubscribed.
We did.
We had a
We
big
did.
response
I bet.
when we put the call out online.
Yeah.
But I will tell you a secret, Kent, just for your audience only. We've only selected 5 out of 6 seats. So and we have a lot of companies to choose from to get that 6th seat in there. So if somebody did have a compelling argument, we'd be all ears.
Have to wow you.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But there is a hope.
So when we talk about, why do you think this is important for Jacksonville right now? Obviously, you fast-tracked this. You guys came up with this idea and you said, we're going to do it this summer, when you came up with the idea in March or April or whenever it was, right?
Right. It was a little crazy. Well, I think it's like we're kind of on the cusp. Jacksonville's kind of sat to the side a little bit and watch the future kind of go by. It's time for us to get involved and be the leaders. So for us, it was just, the time is now. I don't know why we felt that way. We just did, and we're like, the city is growing. There's so many incredible things happening here. There's so many incredible companies moving here. We need to do this now. And so we just said, let's do it. And we've spent the last 3 or 4 months, running around like chickens with our heads cut off,
Right.
but it's all going to be worth it. And I think every year it's going to get better, and I think every year it's going to get bigger. and I think more people are going to want to get involved.
What's the thought right now? We're several weeks out from it, but I'm sure you've got registrations and whatever. How many companies or how many people do you think are going to participate here, or what's the goal?
I think our goal is to get at least, I'd like to see at least 100 to 150 companies be represented there. And I think we've got some incredible sponsors. Bank of America is our presenting sponsor. We have First Citizens Bank, which is also sponsoring the Capital Pitch, which is incredible. So it's nice to see some of these larger entities that also exist here supporting that Jacksonville initiative. The city is a sponsor, the Jax Chamber. So we're just really excited to see all these people wanting to get involved. And we have a bunch of healthcare folks getting involved. Some healthcare systems are sponsoring. So it continues to grow every day, and every day we kind of come up with something new that's been challenging, and we're like, okay, do we have room for these people? Do we have room for this talk? So every day it's getting a little bit bigger, but we've got the whole prime, so they've been incredible to help us make it all work and put it together. And PRI is a sponsor and continues to add on equipment as we need it. And we've had 3D Digital, which has been an incredible sponsor, doing all of the social media and helping us get the word out. So ton of companies in Jacksonville just flooding in to help.
What stands out to me is that so often when you're asking for a sponsorship, a lot of companies that are presenting sponsors for this, that, and the other, yeah, that's got to be in my 2026 budget. Or so you brought this all together in these last several months.
Yes.
To me, that says that these companies who are going to sponsor are saying, yes, there's a need for this. I want to be involved.
Right.
Is that accurate?
Yeah.
I think so.
And I think the other cool thing is it's more than just writing checks, because we do have costs, right? We have to rent a facility and we've got to pay for certain things. But what's more important to us is people helping. And so that's some of the sponsors Summer mentioned. They didn't just come in financially. They said, hey, let me give you a marketing person. Let me give you a coordinator. Let me give you a human resource to help you get this done. So that's been amazing, and that makes things much easier for Summer and I when we log on to our planning calls and we just see a whole bunch of faces, and it gets bigger every time because people are jumping in with their own hands and feet to help out, and that's really incredible.
Yeah.
Maybe help explain for early stage companies how this can be of benefit to them in getting involved here.
Yeah, I'll take that one.
Yeah.
So, there's a couple ways you can build a startup, right? Chang Robotics and Anuvision are both customer funded startups. So those are called bootstrapped companies, meaning we launched companies, we had relationships, and then we found some early sponsors to pay, for projects or what have you to get us going. In tech, the most common way is to raise equity, right? Is to take investor capital so you have time to build your idea. And so what we want to do is we want to create avenues for the would-be founder that they can say, hey, tell me more about this customer-funded model, because that sounds great. I'm in control,
right.
And I'm not taking investors. For other technologies, most of the tech that we use in our daily lives, that was funded by an investor. So we need to be able to equip those would-be founders with investors of the right stage. So in venture, we have all these crazy words like pre-seed and seed, Series A, Series B, Series C. You'll hear that from time to time with the big tech companies. So those are different investors that come along at different times, and they're looking for different things. There's a substantial amount of education that goes along with this. So that's one of the things we want to educate our would-be founders on, and our investors here. There's this joke about Jacksonville investors love real estate, right? How do we get them to love tech that was grown in their own backyard? And so it's a virtuous cycle. Once we get a few founders getting funded by local investors, they have a good story, they tell their friends, and it goes around, and before you know it, we're Austin, Texas, or the next startup city.
So I think our audience is there with me, but this is invigorating, hearing you talk about where we're at and where we can go, and just the energy that seems like it's right there. As I'm talking with you, I'm hearing you're saying, we want that energy to just kind of explode here, starting in the fall, right? Starting at the end of August, when people walk out of the Jax Tech Fest and say, bang, I've got this relationship, I've got more information about how I can launch as an entrepreneur, or really take my business from small scale to bigger scale.
Right.
So I have a final data point for you, which is of our startups that have come through so far in the couple years we've been doing this, one wins every year. So only one is getting the big check, like the golf course check at the end of the competition.
It's this size, right? It's
Yeah,
about
the
that big.
huge
Yeah.
check.
Yeah, with the photo op. But what we've learned is, after surveying all the companies, 80% of the companies have received funding. So that means there's somebody in the audience that hears that story from the startup and they go, that's exactly what I was thinking, or I agree with them, I want to support them. And those people match make, and then the individuals provide funding to the companies. So it's been hugely beneficial for our startups because 80% of those companies that have come through so far get funding of some sort from someone in the audience.
Right. Right. Because they may not win the pitch overall by score and from the venture capitalists, but there's a ton of venture capitalists there, and they're there to hear these pitches. So anything could happen for those folks that have been on that stage, which is really exciting.
You both obviously very bullish on what can happen here in the Jacksonville and Northeast Florida region with technology.
Yes.
All right, so wrap it up for me. How does somebody who's listening, watching right now, they want to attend, how do they find out more?
That one's super easy.
Easy.
JaxTechFest.com. Look at
Yep.
that's how easy it is. So we've got a nice website, JaxTechFest.com.
Yep.
There are, I want to say, 6 or 7 total events during the week.
Yes.
So we have the registration for each one of those events. You can go to Jax Tech Fest. You can register for this Wednesday event. You can register for the TEDx. You can register for Government Day,
Yep.
or the Chamber's having a conference that week.
Yep.
So we've made it as easy as possible. You have the entire, it's like a music fest, right? You've got the entire schedule laid out.
If
Just pick the things you wanna do.
If you just sign up for happy hour, work a little bit harder, okay?
Right.
Dive in deeper.
You show up just for Friday. Well, it's okay. We'll have a drink and network.
I'm really excited that we got a chance to talk about this and best success. And what I would love is on a future episode to talk to somebody who came and said, wow, that was the spark I needed. That I learned something that really energized my business idea and technology. And so I'll follow up with both of you on that. Thank you so much.
No problem. Hopefully you're going to come. You going to come check it out?
I'm making my plans already. I'm not sure
Okay.
which one. If I'm signing up for all of those, or I'm just coming to watch or whatever.
One thing. Just come to one thing.
No,
But I think you'll enjoy it.
It sounds amazing. So, founder and chief executive officer of Anuvision Technologies, Summer Vyne. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Matthew Chang, principal and founder of Chang Robotics. Really appreciate getting to visit with both of you. And thank you so much for joining us for This Week in Jacksonville Business Edition. Wherever you find the podcast, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. New episodes come out every Thursday at 9 a.m.